We're talking about good gifts. During Holy Week, we've been sharing a short devotion each day, and today we're going to look at gifts that you give away. Now, the past few days, I've been part of a wartime effort. How strange to even say that out loud. But I've spent hours and hours sewing face masks, along with a whole team of our ladies in women's ministries. This is something I never thought that I'd be doing. And it almost reminds me of another time, another place in history. It was World War One, and women across America bought wool and they knit socks and helmet hoods and gloves and scarf. And there was this sense that these were our soldiers, our young men who were fighting for our country. They were cold, and somehow we could be part of making life just a little easier for them. We could keep them warm. And so our nation came together in many, many ways, but this is one of them. And these are good gifts, the kind that you give away. I went to the grocery store needing flour and sugar and oatmeal. Very simple, and yet not one of those things were there. And I noticed there were so many psychological and relational dynamics that were going on in this place. About half the people were masked, about half were not. There were a few that absolutely seemed oblivious to the fact that anything in the world was even going on right now. But you could feel it. It was palpable. There was fear everywhere. And there was greed. Pushy, toilet paper grabbing greed. Socially distanced. Distance. That's what we've become. Distant. Jesus is about 24 hours from the crucifixion. He's living in the shadow of the cross at this part of his ministry. Powerful, sacred time in the upper room. He is spending with his disciples. He's saying goodbye, but really there's a lot more going on. In John 13, it is said, written, authored by the disciple John, remembering he loved them. Verse 1 of John 13 says he loved them to the last. And he does this extraordinary thing. He takes off his outer robe and he wraps it around his waist. He pours water and he's going to wash the disciples' feet. Now, washing feet was common. After all, feet got very dirty, but Jesus washing their feet, uncommon, absolutely uncommon. And this was a task that was set aside for the lowliest servant, not the Messiah. That's quite a picture. God washing feet. But he's teaching them. Peter says, "You are not washing my feet, Jesus. Never." And in Greek, it is so strong, this word, that it takes on almost new meaning, deeper meaning, as if you will never in all of eternity wash my feet. In verse 7, Jesus replies, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand. Unless I wash you, you will have no part with me." Then Lord, Simon Peter said, "Not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well." Peter's that kind of all in or not at all kind of guy. "Wash me, Lord. Wash all of me." Jesus knows what lies ahead. At this point, he can see the cross and he can see the grace that will be brought about through obedience. But obedience, this giving of himself, it's not easy. It would require everything there was of him. So we ask, was this a last minute life teaching for the disciples? Well, yes, of course. But is it a teaching for us today? And I resolutely say, yes, of course. And just as the women went to factories so long ago to work, and they knit during the evening hours during World War One, I'm telling you that there are seamstresses around the world today who are sewing face masks. And there are those who are serving first responders. There are those who are feeding and sheltering and manning call centers and providing child care. There are those who are up in their prayer closets providing powerful, powerful prayers. Some are making up care kits and delivering food, grocery orders, needs are being met. I mean, so much. People are finding unique, incredible ways to give themselves away. It's a wartime effort, and it's uniting us, but it's also making us think in the darkest moments there is still goodness and grace. I believe that this has been a time when our priorities are shifting. We're remembering who and what is important. People are important, not things, not stuff. And we're asking, who is my neighbor? For followers of Jesus Christ, this is an incredible opportunity to demonstrate God's love and to give good gifts. Well, I'm telling you, heroes are emerging. And if you read between the lines, you can feel it. You can hear it. In the shadow of the cross, know that Easter morning is coming. There is hope and forgiveness, and there's restoration. During this holiest of weeks, I'm going to hold on and be a part of giving good gifts and Jesus' example. Today, just one thing I'd like to challenge you with. Leave a prayer in the comments section. So as this is shared in different forums, your prayer request, your need is going to be read. And those reading these comments, I'm going to ask you to take them to God in prayer. Father, this morning I just pray encouragement, inspiration. Please, dear God, give us insight that looks beyond ourselves, that on this holy week we can say, how do you want us to care for others? Who is my neighbor, and how do we respond? And we begin right here, connecting ourselves with you and one another and looking for ways that we can serve. Father, we're grateful for grace today. Amen. Major Rhonda Gilger with the Salvation Army.